We're down here at the Piercing Urge with Louise. Thank you very much, Louise, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Now, we're here to find out a bit about female genital piercing. Now, I don't actually know too much about it, so I'm relying on you as the expert to tell us a little bit about it. Now, what's probably the most common piercing that women get in that area?
The piercing that we're doing most often at the moment is the clitoral hood, and that's just that little bit of tissue that covers the clitoris itself. And the piercing that most people are referring to when they say, I want to get my clit pierced, but it's not actually the clit. It can be done in two different ways, which is horizontally or vertically, and really depends on anatomy, what kind of sensation people are going for, and what they like the look of.
So I've seen like the little rings that you can get with a bead. So does the bead put pressure on the clitoris?
It does.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, and a lot of women are really enjoying the piercing, and I guess word is getting around that you can get that extra clitoral stimulation by having the piercing in place and not having to rely on perhaps anybody else to know where it is.
Now, can you also get your clitoris pierced itself?
You can, but that's a lot more restrictive as far as size is concerned. The clitoris, for the clitoris itself to be pierced, it needs to be about the size of a pea, like a green pea, because if it's too small, and because we actually remove tissue when we do the piercing, so the last thing we'd want to do is reduce sensation in that area, and most of us aren't well enough endowed to, be privy to that piercing.
Now, what about pain and stuff? So, do women often... Can you get an anaesthetic or something in that area?
No, there isn't an anaesthetic that's appropriate for female tissue, but and really, women are designed, we are built for experiencing pain in the genital area because we're designed to give birth.
Yep.
So whether we have kids or not, we're built for it. And most women find that the piercing doesn't hurt anywhere near as much as they thought it was going to, and that by the time they're sort of dressed again, standing at the counter, they can't even feel it.
So what other piercings can you get in that area? Are there any other ones?
Depends on your anatomy, and we're all built differently, but you can get outer labia piercing done if you have them. You can get inner labia piercing done. There are a couple of other more advanced piercings, one called the frechette, one called the triangle. They're kind of deeper piercings, again anatomy dependent, and a lot more sort of surface piercings as well, which are more just for aesthetics and things, but the labia and the hood are the most common and most popular.
Now, what about hygiene, I guess, in that area? Like, is there a high risk of infection perhaps?
Not at all, not at all, because we have a natural bacterial balance there that is designed to cope with the tissue being broken. So if we give birth, for example, and all of our body fluids are sterile to ourselves. So urine, menstrual blood, secretions, all of those things, they're all meant to be there. So obviously there still is a risk once the skin is broken of contracting an STI, but that risk is there anyway. It's higher once you have a body piercing that hasn't completely healed. So it's a good idea to, always be practicing safe sex anyway with that, not exposing to other people's body fluids.
Now, Louise, what about girl-on-girl contact? So if two girls have piercings, what kind of things can happen there?
Because that's the sort of thing that we need to consider, whether it's girl-on-girl, guy-on-girl. When we get into genital work, depending on how adventurous and vigorous we are with our sexual practices, what the most important thing is that both partners have closed jewellery, so that, like you were talking about before, they have the ring with the ball in it. We get into problems when people start using circular barbells, like the horseshoe with a ball on either end, because that then provides an opening. And if you were sliding backwards and forwards on somebody and they happen to hook up, then in the throes of passion, that can be a very interesting scenario. And we have had quite a number of clients actually that we see, maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday that have had a problem. They've been hooked. Ouch. So we usually go with closed jewellery if people are finding that that's a problem.
Well, thank you very much, Louise, for joining us today.
My pleasure.